New York Fashion Week is one of 4 of the biggest fashion weeks in the world. You may know the other ones as Paris, London, and Milan Fashion Week. Hey guys, my name is Yusufs. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on New York Fashion Week as it pertains to content creators and influencers in the landscape. Why is this important? Well, because 10 to 15 years ago, the landscape was very different. The fashion industry was very different in terms of fashion show, fashion runways, front rows, who was attending, who was on the front row. I thought it would be interesting to kind of like show this year's September New York Fashion Week from the blogger perspective. First on the list is Acheng Agutu of Ordinary Noire. I don't know if that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if I butcher anyone's name. But I bring this up because we all love Ordinary Noire. She has a very eccentric personality, a very eccentric style, fun, colorful kind of style. She's always very bold with her inspirational videos and her how she dresses, how she talks. It's just beautiful. I was reading an article on Vogue about Acheng Agutu, and it says that she was born and raised in Kenya, but she moved to Richmond, Indiana to complete high school when she was 16. She lived with a host family and she had only seen the US on TV and was obsessed with High School Musicals. So she was disappointed when she walked into one and no one was singing. I thought that was very funny. But I bring that up to just kind of like give you that background perspective of where this girl has come from and now is in these fashion shows, sitting front line and center in some of these fashion shows at New York Fashion Week. I saw her at the Finole show. I saw her at the Patbo show. I think they were also at the Kate Spade show. I'll also put a video up so you can see kind of like the Instagram pages and the stories and kind of like the overall vibe of this year's New York Fashion Week. It's actually amazing to see because just like 10 to 15 years ago, if you've been paying attention to the fashion industry 10 to 15 years ago, it was very uncommon to see black influencers, black content creators, black bloggers, fashion bloggers as we know them, as we knew them, at fashion shows, not to even talk about fashion front row shows. It was very unheard of until bloggers like Bryan Boy came around and was spotted sitting at the front fashion rows. People weren't really taking fashion bloggers seriously. They thought fashion bloggers were kind of like unskilled. They're not professionals, the usual professionals like the editors, for example. But that was the old way of thinking, because now in 2022 we all know how well, not we all, a lot of you might not know, but if you have ever produced content or created your own content, then you know that it can be quite the challenge and it takes a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work that is actually similar to work that editors, fashion editors do, because sometimes you have to source content, we have to gather content, find location, respond to inquiries, all this stuff that you see behind the scene that you don't see that goes on behind the scene. So it's very interesting to see how the landscape has changed so far. Before, it was just front rows of like celebrities, the Kim Kardashians just sitting front rows. It's only like since, let's say, 2015 and onwards that you started to see more influencers of color. I remember Chriselle Lim, who is an Asian fashion blogger who has grown this massive empire, which is amazing to see. But now also it's amazing to see that opportunity also being kind of like extended to black people. And this is only possible because editors have spoken out. Editors, models, black models have spoken out about the non-inclusivity and the exclusivity of the fashion industry, which actually can cause certain problems, unfortunately. Lack of diversity from the back of the fashion stage to the runways, to the shows, to the visitors, to the guests, to the buyers. Sometimes there was just a lack of overall representation, lack of inclusivity. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Harlem Fashion Row or Black in Fashion Council, but these are associations and organizations that are pulling together and they're noticing that, okay, there's a gap. We all can see that there's a gap. I mean, honestly, if you really open your eyes, it's kind of clear that there's a gap in the fashion industry when it comes to people of color, and specifically black people are hugely underrepresented. So associations associations like Harlem's Fashion Row and Black in Fashion Council make it possible so that we are able to gather all these designers that nobody would have ever had the chance of seeing or meeting, and their work would have never gotten a chance of getting exposed. These organizations have actually pulled all these designers together and are creating showrooms in order to have exposure and awareness for these smaller designers, which is great. And so in doing so, they're creating a whole lot of kind of like opportunities for Black models who have to model those pieces, or Black bloggers who attend these shows, these showrooms, these castings and what have you, these events and what have you. When New York Fashion Week is going on, there are a lot of events, there are a lot of performances, shows going on. So it's amazing to have these kind of opportunities to be seen by different designers, to be seen by different photographers, a videographer. It's very important for people who work in the fashion space to have that access. And so I think, you know, watching kind of like how this unfolds to the public from the viewpoint of the fashion bloggers is very amazing to see. Next on the list is Natasha and Nuni of the Yusufs. Honestly, they've just been trailblazing. I know that they're from Toronto. I believe they're from Canada, but like year after year, I see the hard work and the effort that they've been putting over time and how that has translated. I remember reading a vlog from the Yusufs, how they were talking about their journey to getting into fashion and also getting into fashion shows, and that only started happening for them very, very recently. I remember them dominating the New York Fashion Show earlier this year in 2022, but it's also amazing to kind of like see how far they've come as well. And the story of the Yusufs is so inspiring. I bring their background stories up just so that you can also have kind of like, if you have a story that's similar to that, to where you're feeling like, you know, when will I ever make it? There are people who are clearly making it, who look like me, who have darker skin tone, who are able to come from situations that are more than unfavorable and still make it to these fashion shows. Yusufs were also seen hosting a kind of like Q&A session with I think that was powered by Essence magazine. So that's awesome to see that a huge publication such as Essence magazine, who primarily focuses on the black voice, really has asked the Yusuf sisters to host a Q&A session, which is amazing because a lot of people want to hear from them. They're bloggers. A lot of people aspire to get to these positions and they don't know how. So it's very important to have that representation, because representation being passed out to other people is information, and information is power. Well, next we have Oyin Edogi. She's also Oyin Edogi of Sweet Like Oyin. She was also present at the New York Fashion Week. I love that orange number she had on. It's very beautiful. It was a Hanifa dress, the knit, the color against her skin tone, and she's holding that Kate Spade bag. It's really, really beautiful. A lot of them were at the Kate Spade showcase in the New York Fashion Week. She also was spotted in another look for the Rebecca Minkoff show. She was wearing a skirt by Kilian Tar and bodysuit by Hanifa. So I just wanted to give you guys an overall idea on what the girlies were wearing on Fashion Week. She looked great. The stories were active. The content was contenting. So like a little background for Oyin as well. I know she used to work full-time in property management, and at some point she was juggling that with working content until she fully transitioned. So also this gives you hope for people who work 9 to 5. I know 9 to 5 is looked at as, you know, almost as a taboo these days, but like 9 to 5 is very important in keeping a lot of people alive and keeping a lot of people stable and you know, not poor. You know, you need a source of financials, and if you are in that position where you're working 9 to 5 and you feel like you can't make it, well, this is somebody who has clearly had that same struggle but has been able to overcome, and now she's at New York Fashion Week. Next we have Aaliyah Jay. We know Aaliyah Jay is already from New York. She's a New York girl. She's very much a fashion girl. I like her taste. I like her style. I like that she thinks outside the box. You know, she could be traditional, but she didn't choose that traditional route. She's going to that very unique. I feel like I appreciate the way she thinks. I like the way she dresses. I like the look that she was spotted in for the Sungju-won show. It was very unique. I thought it was outside the box. It's not your usual, you know, skin tight, what have you. And this to me was very much a fashion moment. I love the hair as well. so kudos to her on that. I did also like her other look that she wore, the one with the boxing gloves. I thought that was very cute, very much that kind of street, New York street vibe. I thought it was very cool as well. She gave us a lot of content for New York Fashion Week as well, so check her out. All right, for the rest of the video, I'm gonna keep my hair down because, well, I can't. Next is Janae from Low Luxxe. Honestly, she's just always one to look out for, just in general, because she has such a unique fashion taste. It's very edgy. She can be sexy, she can be edgy, she can be cool, she can be, you know, all of those things, eccentric, you know, and sometimes even all at the same time. So it's amazing to see. She used to work in Target. I remember she has a video on her channel where she talks about her story working as a manager in Target, and now quitting that job to working full-time as a fashion content creator, blogger, fashion content blogger. So seeing her at these shows, like, she always eats. Honestly, she was at Fashion Week earlier this year as well, and they ate. They honestly, like, honorable mention to the Kensington Grey team, because what that team has done for black influencers, for black fashion influencers, is amazing. Company, I believe her name is Shanae Ingleton Smith, the head of the company at Kensington Grey agency. She mentioned that she also saw that disparity in the fashion space, and so that inspired her to create this agency. And so she's been doing that for years. And then I personally found out about this agency like a few years ago, but to me they really blew up this year when they had that whole huge PR moment. They were taking pictures with a lot of their fashion girls. The fashion girls were storming the street. It was just amazing to see. So I personally will be watching out for the Kensington Grey girls at every single fashion week going forward. Okay, they always stir fashion, you know, uniqueness, you know, like it's always giving. It's giving fashion, it's giving the moment, it's giving we are the girls, and it's so inspirational for somebody like me, because I'm working to that point where, you know, I can get to be at these shows, be at Fashion Week, be at these events, and have these brand deals. So this video is a reference and inspirational point to anyone who kind of feels that way, to anyone who has a similar story, who's working 9 to 5, who's unemployed, who has a job, who has a business, whatever it is. There is an influencer who has kind of like a similar story or some sort of path that you can kind of relate to and see like, okay, I can do it too. Lori Harvey. Actually, before we get to Lori Harvey, let's discuss Doja Cat. Honorable shout out to Doja Cat. I should say honorable shout out to Doja Cat, because she's been doing her own thing too this whole fashion week, and I like that Doja Cat actually stuck to her guns, as in she stuck to who she is. She didn't compromise. She could have come in here and be a rap girl and be basic, same industry standard, you know, run-of-the-mill rap girl, but no, she decided to stick to what she wants to do in this fashion world and be herself and be quirky and be cool and be different, because that is who she is. Lastly, we have Lori Harvey. Now I bring up Lori Harvey because Lori Harvey absolutely slaughtered this New York Fashion Week. Nobody did it like Lori Harvey, okay? And I think this is because her dad's stylist, well, Steve Harvey's stylist, is styling her for this whole fashion week. And baby, she ate every single, I mean, it's unfair at this point. Like, every single look is a look. Every single look is a banger. I can't even complain. We all know Lori Harvey is that girl, but like, let me pull this up. But like, this is unfair. This kind of slayage is unfair. Lori Harvey in that Christian Cohen. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I was gagged. It was giving very Janet Jackson with the tank top, and then the bottom was giving like, it reminded me of like that Riri moment. Like, oh my god, amazing. And then she had this black dress just looking mwah, just simple, cute, with the white Louboutin with the cute bob. I mean, just amazing. Styled by Ellie Caramot. That's his, I don't know if that's how you pronounce this, Caramot, but she just looks amazing every single time. And then today she stepped out in this white bustier and then this colorful skirt. I think it's by he says it's by new American designer Saint Sintra. Oh my god, 10 over 10, like 10 over 10. Even the black grunge look that she had on, like, this is what I want in a look. I just want to eat it up. Honestly, I like couture. I think couture is where, like, I just, like, have so much fun. I like looks that are different, out of the box, just like, you know, I don't mind a bit of avant-garde. I need, feed us with something, you know what I mean? Feed us, give us something to look at. You see how excited I am? Like, that. Anyways, I hope I didn't ramble. I just wanted to add those last two in there just for, like, you know, the celebs that were eating it. Honestly, these days celebs don't even be attending New York Fashion Week like that. They don't really be giving it like that like they used to, because I think they're just like, oh, that's for the bloggers now. But who cares? The bloggers are eating it anyways. And I like that the black fashion bloggers are stepping in. They're doing the thing, you know, they're creating a way for themselves and for future content creators, future, you know, fashion students, future whoever just is aspiring to get to that point and is in a position where they feel like, how can I get there? These are the people that help us get there. You watch their videos, you get information on how to do it, how to get there. Yeah, I hope this wasn't wrong. I hope this made sense, or I don't know. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you found this entertaining. As always, like, subscribe, comment, you know, follow, all of that. This is YouTube. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Who's your favorite? Who did you like this fashion week? Yeah, that's it for this one. I will see you very soon. Take care. Peace.